know much about enough about this Patriots offense yet, for example, right? Like, so Drake May is like statistically one of the best quarterbacks in football, best completion percentage. He's like top 5 in just about everything, but competition really matters there. And so that's a good example, I think, of like, okay, we got to start seeing this against the better defenses, see how he does. I'm really high on Drake May and I'm really excited, but like that, he's not going to finish with the best completion percentage in the NFL.
It's some of his, like the advanced numbers also do back it up, but I think, let me find the exact stat.
He's 14th in DVOA, which accounts for opponent. So
yeah,
but again, it's still even early for that.
The other thing about that, DVOA, you get a lot. It's after week 6 where it becomes like a more official statistic, right? But yeah, the crazy thing about that, Mina, to your point, is like after this, they play the Saints and the Titans. Like the Patriots, the Patriots schedule is going to be very beneficial to Drake May all year.
This was always the thing with the Patriots, right? They have one of the easiest schedules in football.
One of the things I think is so intriguing about this game is it actually doesn't just feel like I know we're going to find out more about New England. Maybe they're more fraudulent, and like the schedule obviously plays a lot into that. They barely beat Miami. They've had some rough losses also, but this now feels like what it felt like 7 years ago when Buffalo was playing New England, just in reverse. Like the established team playing a legitimate upstart team, where New England might be considerably better than we think by the end of the season, just because their offense is really fun. They're really well coached, and we had a ton of questions about their offensive line coming into the season, and their offensive line has been good this year. They've only allowed pressure on 32.9% of the snaps, which is 7th best in the league, and that was a huge question mark of could they even get their best 5 guys out there? Were Will Campbell's arms too short? And like that's a huge step forward for the team.
Pressure to me, pressure is one of those stats that I think it's a useful stat for understanding how a game is being played and what impact had for a game, but I think sometimes it's a hard stat when you're using it to measure O-line play specifically.
Well, here's the thing about that. You're totally
like quick
right.
pressure is a different thing.
Yeah. So they're facing the 9th most blitzes compared to last year, the 31st. So
that's a lot of blitzes. But I guess my point is that pressure is pressure at any point. So like you can have a terrible O-line so your quarterback's under pressure all the time because you can't block them, or you can have a great O-line and your quarterback's buying time so you get pressure. So like time to throw, pressure, those are hard ones, but I'm not saying
they're managing. No, you're right. I'll rephrase it to make the stat more accurate. They're managing to play better against 5 or more rushers than they did last year.
True. And they're managing to avoid pressure, which is, I think, a good stat for an offense to know about an offense. It's not always a great stat to speak to how good an offensive line is, but you combine it with like time to throw and how quickly it passes, pass rush win rate, and all that stuff.
How about this is illustrating your exact point on that. They're 4th in the league in negative plays. They're really minimizing the negative plays, and that's probably about managing the situation more than anything, which is, I'm sure, a massive Vrabel effect.
I think the Bills also are a team that we hold in high regard, but to Mina's point about early season not having a bunch of data on them, it's a reflection of what we think of them and what they've done so far. But there are that run defense is a big blinking red light, and there's not going to be very many times this year where we're going to be able to see them really test it, and it certainly haven't had it yet.
I think this is a good test for them, both sides, honestly. Like I talk about Drake May a little bit. I think the Bills, the Patriots offense is starting to round into form. You can kind of see they're settling on an identity. And it was really interesting last week, by the way, to see Steph Diggs kind of finally have a breakout because he was winning downfield in a way he hasn't. And that made me think, okay, he's probably getting healthier, right? If the Buffalo can shut them down, it's a pretty good. I'm not saying they're the cream of the crop, but you start to feel pretty good about, because I don't have Bills offense. We don't even talk about. I have no questions about that. But the defense was they looked legitimately awful week 1, and then they've been awesome since then. Cool. Let's see this. I think that's why I like this game, because I just feel all right, let's see the Bills defense against better competition. Let's see Drake May against Josh Allen and company. I think it's a good bar game.
I have one question about the Bills offense for you guys, which is how sustainable do you think it is the way they've been able to balance their running game? In years past, we've been Josh Allen is the running game. James Cook's a really good player, but some of the touchdown luck is going to regress. this year he's getting the ball more and being more effective, and it seems
Cook?
like this is the most stable their offense has been.
I thought Cook was awesome last year too. I mean, all the advanced numbers really loved him as terms of he was producing well and above what an average back would in that situation, and the offensive line continues to be one of the best.
There's nothing about this offense.
NFL,
there's nothing about this offense that feels fluky or unstable. I think it all feels very stable, which was, that was the major evolution up there, is that they they eliminated a lot of the super negative plays, but still haven't given up on their ability.
They win the turnover battle literally every week.
So that feels incredibly sustainable. I had a thought that when Mina was talking about identity, and it's a word that we use a bunch, and I guess I was trying to think of how to define it, because obviously I think she's right when it comes to the Patriots, but when you talk about a team's identity, everyone wants it to be some sort of toughness. But I guess when you think of an offensive and defensive identity, you think of what is the play? What's the play? When I think of this offense or this defense, what is the play? Is it a all-out blitz? Is it a rush with 4, or the same thing with play action or boots on offense, or a zone or ISO, or a duo concept? And I guess while I agree with Mina, I don't know that I have that clear a picture of what New England's identity is, right?
A lot of play action. They've been running that a lot more. I think that downhill run game is where they're their best. You're starting to kind of figure out the roles of the skilled players. They're a big 12 personnel team. Hunter Henry is quietly the most important offensive player on this team. And that's a continuation. Drake May is just really comfortable throwing him the football. So and that's going to be an issue for Buffalo, man. Tight ends, spine of the defense. Don't love that for them. So
yeah. I'm gonna give my good game. We're hopping
Sorry,
back. No, all good. It's Chiefs Jaguars. I actually think this is a really interesting and good game. I still have a lot of questions about the Chiefs' running attack. I think they need to get that figured out, but there were so many positives in the way they were able to protect Mahomes and the way the passing game looked with Xavier Worthy back. But I think it's a significant, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I think the Jaguars' defense is a significantly bigger and more interesting test than the Ravens were last week because of what their secondary and their defensive line are. And I think coming into the season, I was so sure that Liam Cohen was going to have the offense sorted out much sooner than the defense. And the defense for Jacksonville has just been really good. And I know Cohen has improved the offensive line. Things are going better despite the question marks around Trevor Lawrence. But where it's similar, and it's an established team and then an upstart team where we might take considerably more seriously depending on how they perform against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the context, this is another great okay, the Chiefs offense looked all the way back, but there were guys in the Ravens defense that I've never heard of, right? Playing out there. So this is a much better bar, get a much better test game. The Jags' defensive improvement is quietly one of the great stories of the NFL season. This was the worst defense in football, and they have really turned things around. I don't think we're thinking of them as one of the best in the league or by any means, but they could not do anything last year. And major improvements in the secondary. Jordan Lewis has been really good for them. The linebackers are playing really well, which is important, by the way, because part of the reason why the Ravens had no chance out there is this Chiefs offense. Yeah, they had a couple more explosives with